Okay, hi all. Good morning. So, I think this is the assignment 30 June. Okay, so this hope my voice is audible and screen is visible to everyone. Yeah, is my voice audible?
Yes.
Hello. Okay, and screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we were discussing assignment of 30 June. Most of you have reworked on that and have shared the correct solution. Anyone who wants to discuss any question out of this 11 question?
11th and 6th somewhere, that manager one.
10, 11. 6 is this one, no? Duplicate record.
Not
This
sorry, not that. I think
Hmm.
fifth one, like investor.
Manager one question is question number 4.
Yeah, 4 and
Which one
5.
you
Yeah, so 5 I
4
have
and
done
5?
already. I'm not sure what is wrong. Yeah,
I have given the feedback that it is wrong. Is it like that?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we'll discuss it. Okay, so we'll discuss this question. First of all, let me clear this table. Hope my voice is audible to everyone. Okay. So this is your employee table. Employee ID, employee name, manager ID. And one more thing I will tell that assignments, what I'm giving, again, I'm repeating the same dialogue. Please work on those assignments. Very important. Okay. While working on the assignments, maybe some other questions will come in your mind. So derive some more questions. Okay. So if other questions come to your mind that okay, we can frame this question as well. So frame that question. That will give you another level of confidence. Okay, so this is the employee table. Here you have employee ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 coming again, and employee name, and here is the manager ID. Okay. Question is write a SQL query to fetch details of manager who has more than one direct reports or subordinate. So you tell me those manager who has more than one direct reports. Can you tell me from this data who is that manager to whom more than one employee is reporting?
5.
5.
5 and 6.
So manager ID 5, B is reporting, correct? And to
Yeah.
manager ID 5, D is also reporting. So to manager ID 5, we have 2 employees who are reporting to manager ID 5, correct? Hope this is clear to everyone.
Yes.
First of all, you see question should be clear. Then only we can proceed with the solution. So is the question clear? So here the answer is manager ID 5 because 2 employees B and D, they are reporting to manager ID 5. And as per the question, we have to find those managers to whom more than one employee is reporting. So is this clear? First of all, question is clear. Okay. Why not 6? Why not 6?
It's a duplicate.
Correct. 6 manager ID 6. Who is reporting to 6? Employee C. Correct, no? Employee C is reporting to 6. Here again, employee C is reporting to 6. So can you tell that 2 employees are reporting to manager ID 6? Is this the correct statement here? No. No, they are duplicate, right? Those not speaking, please warn you. So this employee C. Okay, thank you. So this employee C is reporting to manager ID 6 and this record are duplicate. So we cannot tell that manager ID 6 is also the answer. So the only answer is manager ID 5 because to manager ID 5, 2 employees B and D are reporting. Is this clear? Any question? No question? Okay. So what we have to do here is we have to create buckets of manager ID. Correct? No, you have to create buckets of manager ID. And in that bucket of manager ID, you have to find how many are reporting. So that's why group by manager ID, because I want to create bucket of manager ID. Okay. Now if I will write here count of a star, I will write the count of a star. If I'm running it, this is the output. 6, 2 is there, 4, 1 is there. For 6, why the output is 2? For manager ID 6, why the output is 2? Because here we have
Yeah,
two
it will
records
count
for
the
manager
duplicate.
ID 6. This is the one record, this is another record. I mentioned count of the star. So it will just check the occurrence of this, whether it is duplicate or not. The count of the star is 1, because for manager ID 4, there is only one record. Okay. Similarly, for manager ID 5, count of the star is 2. For manager ID 5, you have 2 records. Okay. For manager ID null, there is 2 records. So for null, you can see there is 2 records. So we have used count of a star. Now tell me, is this correct to use count of a star here?
No.
We need only MGR ID.
Sorry, what we have to use?
We need only manager ID.
So instead of a star, I need to give manager ID.
Count of
Think and tell me what should be there within count, the star or manager ID or what?
Employee ID.
Distinct employee name.
Distinct employee ID.
Distinct
name.
employee ID or name, anything.
Anything.
Now let me run this. See, for manager ID 6, the count of distinct employee ID is 1. Try to understand this one. Manager ID 6, count of distinct employee ID value is 1. But here for manager ID 6, I have 2 records. No, this is the 1 record. This is also 1 record, 2 records. But why here the output is only 1?
Because that is a duplicate record and we have used distinct function. So it will count only 1.
Correct. Because here I'm asking SQL engine to count the distinct employee ID. So here for manager ID 6, here employee ID is 3. Here again for manager ID 6, employee ID is 3. And this 3 and this 3, they both are same. So distinct is only 1. That is why the output is only 1 here. For 5, why it is 2? Because for 5 here, the employee ID is 4. For 5 here, employee ID is 2. 2 and 4, they both are different, distinct. That is why the output is 2. So that is why you should use here count of distinct employee ID and then give this filter condition having count of distinct employee ID. What will be the condition here?
Greater than 1.
Greater than 1.
Greater than 1. So I know for few of you I have told to please revisit this question. The reason is you have either used count of a star here or you have used count of employee ID here. That is the reason I have told you to again revisit. Is that clear now? Is this question clear now?
Yes, clear.
Yes, then clear.
Okay. Yeah. Now here you can ask that, okay, why here null is also coming? Null is not a valid manager ID. I don't want to see this null. Just show me the valid manager IDs only. Then tell me what I have to do in this query. I don't want to see this manager ID. What I have to do in this query? So here I will apply a filter condition where manager ID is
not
null. It means I don't want to see this manager ID wherever it is null. Is null and is not null. Have I taught or not? Have I covered this? Is null is not null?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So manager ID is not null. So you are getting only manager ID 5 and count of distinct employee ID is 2. Any questions so far on this? So see the questions what I have given in this assignment, no, all this 30 June assignment. The main intention was to make you understand where to use count of a star, where to use count of a column, where to use count of distinct column is very important. Okay, that was the intention of this assignment. Here you can ask question that Tanvir, I don't want to see count how many employees are reporting. Just show me that manager ID name. Okay, so what I have to do in this query?
You should just remove count distinct employee ID from the.
I will remove this from here, right? I will remove it from here, and then I will run this query. Got the output? Any question? Okay, moving to the next one. What is the next question you told after 4?
Fifth one, Tanvir.
Again, the same thing. Here I have mentioned because you have used count of sector. You have to use count of distinct sector because here I have mentioned write a SQL query to find the investor name who has invested in more than one sector.
More than
Okay,
one sector. Okay.
So you have to use count of distinct sector again here. Is that clear? You wanted to solve this?
Got it. No, it's clear. Yeah,
Clear, no? Okay.
it's clear.
Okay. Any other?
Can you go with the 11th one? Like last is the 11th one.
This is a good question. There are multiple ways to solve this question. Okay, but here I will concentrate only on count and do by. So let me get this. So this is your student table. And one thing, please don't make notes during the class. Try to concentrate only on the lecture. Try to understand it because like at the end of the day, I'm sharing classroom notes, recordings, assignments, right? Hope you all are having access to these documents. So if you are interested, I know many of you have habit of making notes. So you can make notes through this classroom notes, whatever I am sharing, you can make on top of that, then go through the recordings. Many of my students were there from previous batch. They will go through the recordings. They will make notes. So you can make notes if you're interested to that. But during the class, just concentrate, listen to the lecture. So this is the student table, and they have ID 1, 2, 3. The student name is ABC. Subject is maths, physics, chemistry. Result is pass fail, like that. Okay. To write a query and show the details of aspirants who have failed in more than one subject. I want those students who have failed in more than one subject. Please try to understand. This question is a bit tricky. So concentrate on A. A has failed in more than one subject? No. A has failed in only one subject, chemistry. What about B? Yes, B has failed in more than one subject, physics and chemistry. What about C? C has failed in only one subject. So which one is the correct answer here?
B1.
B, correct. B has failed in more than one subject. So now we have to write a query for this because here you have 9 records and 3 students. So easily just looking at this, you can find the answer. But in projects, and these all questions what I'm giving you, it's based on the real project on which I have worked. Yes, it was not related to students, but the format was like this only. Okay. So I have to try to create an algorithm for this. So I have to find those students who has failed in more than one subject. It means I'm interested in failed records only. Okay, one thing I want to explain here. Sorry, I forgot when I was discussing this manager ID question. In this question, you can see I have used where and I have used having as well. Okay. So this question is a good example where I am showing you that you can use where and having both in the same query. Few of you, when in my previous batch, few students, they have this confusion that we cannot use where and having in the same query. Okay, it is not like that. It is not like that. You see, example is in front of you. You can use where and having in the same query. That's not a problem. Okay. Fine. So here in this data, we are interested in only the failed records, correct? So in this, first of all, I will apply the filter that result is equal to fail. Now, if I will run this query, you see I'm getting only the failed records, right? Now, in this, I have to find the count. I have to find the count of name student, count of what? Tell me, count of what I have to find? Star or what?
Result.
Result. Okay.
ID.
Any ID? Okay. Count of result, count of ID. Okay. Okay. Fine. Any other thought? Okay. Let's try to understand this.
Subject.
Subject. Okay. See here. Here from this data, I have given the condition result is equal to fail. So I got only the failed records. Now here what you have to find? You have to find those students. Here you have to find those students who has been mapped with more than one subject. Correct? No? That is the question. Here you have to find those students who has a map with more than one subject in fail condition. So you have to find the name and count of subject, not ID. You are bothered about subject, no? You
Yeah.
challenge, okay, if I am telling something and if you have some different opinion, you challenge it. That no, Tanvir, I will use count of ID. What is the problem? You can challenge it. Okay. So you have to find subject count for each student, right? So I will give here subject. Okay. Now I will, and then I have to give group by name. Now I'm running this query. So B is to C1, A1. Now what the filter condition I have to give? Tell me the filter condition having
Having
Count subject greater than
count subject greater than one.
count of
Okay.
count of
So answer is B.
subject greater than 1.
So is this the correct answer?
Yes.
Okay. So is this query
Yes,
clear?
Tanvir, but yeah,
But you wrote the same query and I told to revisit, right?
yeah, I got the same output. ID was 2, name was A, name was B, count was 2.
But I told to revisit the query, correct? That's what you're telling?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Only thing is what I had done was had taken in group by ID and name.
Mhm. I will come to that. I will answer.
I got the same result set. I just would like to know why is that this result set is different than the one which you have solved.
Mhm. I will answer it. Sure. Before I proceed further on this explanation, is this query clear to everyone? First of all, any question on this query? No questions?
Yeah. Another question, like you usually tell, right? You should not hard code the values.
Huh. Okay, so you're telling here I have hard coded fail. That is what you're telling.
Yeah.
This we have to hard code because this is the condition. Okay, this is the condition. The conditions which we are giving in questions, no, that you can hard code. Are you getting my point? This is the
Yes.
condition mentioned in the question. So that you can hard code. Apart from question, you cannot hard code anything on your own. Suppose if I will hard code somewhere subject name physics, chemistry, math, that is not allowed because in question they have not mentioned anything about which subject they want. So in question, you see, in question they have mentioned we are concerned with failed only. So that's what I have hard coded failed. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, in question if some condition is mentioned and if you are hard coding it, that is acceptable. But you are correct. Apart from that, we cannot hard code any other thing. That is not allowed. Okay.
And Tanvir, we can also use count distinct subjects instead of count subject.
Perfect. That is what I'm just coming on that topic. Very good. I'm coming on that only. Okay. Now, see. A, B, C. Okay. Now, let me create one more record. And please listen very carefully. Bit twisted, confusing concepts. Okay, nothing I have done. I am
I have one
insert.
question that in the
Mhm.
same question, if there is case instance sensitive, then what we can use?
Okay, good. If it is case sensitive, so same thing you have to do, just write here, upper result equal to fail or lower result equal to fill. That's all. Is that clear? Just
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have to play with upper or lower. That's
In
all.
where condition?
In where condition here, just write upper result.
No, I'm saying in subject, if chemistry is writing in caps, everything is in capital in chemistry.
Okay. If subject is like that,
Yeah.
okay, I will come to that. Okay, got it. I will come to that. I will explain that. Okay, first let me explain this one. I will explain that. Okay. What I was explaining? Yeah. So I've inserted new record. You can see ID 4. Your name is D. I've inserted this record. Now look at this record very carefully and tell me whether he has failed in 2 subjects.
No.
Same subject.
Same subject.
Same chemistry, he has failed again. Maybe first time he has appeared in chemistry, he got 20 marks. Again, he appeared. Again, he failed. That is possible, right? In compartmental exam, it happens, right? So if I will execute this query, should this query give me the output D as well? If this query is correct, it should not give me D, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it is giving me D. But this query is giving me D as well. This query is telling me that D has also failed in 2 subjects. Now tell me where is the mistake in this query then? It is unable to handle the duplicate record. Yes, we have to
Yeah.
use here distinct
Distinct
subject.
subject.
Clear? We have to write here distinct subject. Now if I will execute this, it is giving me only B as an output. So that's the reason I have mentioned some of the assignments that please rework, recheck it.
So Tanvir,
Okay.
one question.
Mhm.
So is it, is it a good practice to write distinct in count most
No,
of the
no,
time while
no.
writing big queries? Okay.
No. That totally depends
Like
on
if
the
there are
business
millions
use
of
case.
records. Okay.
That totally depends on the business use case. I'm not telling that always use count of distinct. No, that totally depends on the business use case. Sometimes you have to use a star. I will show you when you have to use a star. Okay. Sometimes you have to use count of column only. You should not use distinct. Totally depends on the business use case. There is no thumb rule. Okay. Fine. Is this clear? Is this clear to everyone? Most of you have done the mistake here. So if you will now revise all the assignments what I have given, okay. So see, you have to understand the question. You see, this question I have given. Okay, I think someone told me that Tanvira have used that query and we have not used this thing, and that was giving the result. That is fine. I agree. Your query was correct. But you know, when you're working in project, okay, what happened? Suppose today you received this data and there is no duplicate. Suppose today you received this data, there was no duplicate. Your query was working when you have not used this thing, right? You remember query was working, but next day, maybe you have received duplicate. You never know, right? And then query will fail in that scenario. and then you cannot claim that my query was working yesterday. Today something happened with the new set of data. My query is not working. I'm not responsible for this. Can you tell all this a story? No, no one will hear to that. You are working as a data engineer or data analyst. You should know how to write a query that even if it is a duplicate, your query should handle it. Correct? So that is why intentionally I have given only this record. And that is why I have mentioned earlier as well. Even in the practice group, yesterday, those who are part of practice group, you might have seen I have given a question how to find duplicate. And I have mentioned there that your query must be generalized query below the sample data. Okay. So your query must be generalized, especially those who are planning for data engineering role or data analyst role. Applicable for everyone, for business analyst as well, but for this role, this is very important. Otherwise, you can see very severe consequences we have faced. That's why we are telling you all these reasons. Hope this query is clear now. Line number 27. Okay. Shall I proceed further? Hello. Is
Yes.
it fine?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So we have completed the assignment. 30 June assignment we have completed. I have tried to explain all the questions, most of the questions. And those who have not worked, I will request that please work on this. It's a very important building blocks. Okay.
I mean, I have an issue in question number 8 as well
Question
in the
number?
same assignment. Can you just explain 8?
Okay, I'm coming to that 1 minute. Question number 8, you told, no? 1 minute, yeah. Yesterday was 4th July. I have sent one assignment yesterday. 4th July. This is okay. Question number 8, you told, right?
Yeah.
This one, no? Okay. Good. Duplicate student ID. Okay. Tell me what is the problem in this question?
Actually, according to you, this is wrong question done by me. That's why I
This
just,
question is wrong. Oh, solution is wrong. What
yeah,
we have
solution
written.
is wrong. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fine. Okay, no problem. Let me explain this. Can you tell me quickly if you have your question handy, what you have written in that question? Sorry, I forgot. You have used count of ID.
Count of student ID I have used.
Count of the student ID you have used. Right. Okay. I will tell you why that is wrong. So this is your student table and these are the IDs and you have to write a query to find the duplicate student ID. I got it here. Got the reason because correct. I think you have written this query select student ID, comma, count of student ID, no? Student ID from student to by, and I want everyone to please send to this. Nowadays, like any job profile, any job description, you see SQL will be bread and butter. You apply for any role, they will ask you question on SQL. And if you will crack it, SQL, so all the further rounds are easy. Okay, so sorry, I've written a star here. I think this is the query you have written, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me execute this. So ID 1, 2, and 4 are duplicates. So let's check ID 1 is duplicate, right? ID 2 is duplicate, right? And 4 is duplicate, correct? And this was the question to find the duplicate student ID. You have written this question and you got the correct output. But even then, I'm telling that this query is not correct. Can anyone think and tell me what is the reason in which scenario this query will fail? Any idea?
Duplicate.
Oh, this is duplicate only, no? We are finding duplicate only. And it is working. The question is to find the duplicate student ID. The student ID 1 is duplicate. So you're getting one output here. Good. Student ID is 2 is duplicate. So this query is fetching me student ID 2 as well. And similarly, student ID is 4 as well. Then why I'm telling this query is not correct? What is the reason this query is not correct? Why I'm telling that?
Because of duplicate entries.
Because of duplicate entries. So what's the problem? So the purpose of this question is to catch the duplicate IDs. You have found the duplicate IDs from this data set. This query seems to be correct. Then why I'm telling this is incorrect? Is my question clear? I'm
Yes.
telling this query on line number 41 is not correct. But when I executed this, I got the correct output. Student ID 1 to 4 are duplicate, and it is telling that yes, 1 to 4 are the duplicate. This query is giving the correct output. Even then, I'm telling this query is not correct. So think and tell me about a scenario for which this query is not correct. That is my question.
We should use stud name also.
Student name also, no, that is not required. Hi, even if you will get a student
Yeah,
name
the-
as well, that's not a problem. Just you have to give a student name after group by. Okay, that's not a problem. Just you will get the student name as well on the output. But logically, that will not make any difference.
Yeah, the
Oh, sorry.
problem is
Hmm.
in student ID 2, there is Suresh and Swati as well.
Yeah.
See. Try to understand it. Here I am telling that I want to find a duplicate student ID only. I am not bothered about the student ID and student name combination. I just want to find the duplicate student ID. Okay.
Distinct we use to find.
No, first, 1 minute, hold on. I am asking just to find a duplicate student ID. I'm
Okay.
not bothered about the combination. If I'm telling combination, then you are correct. Two Suresh and two Swati, they are different. They're not duplicate, right? But here I am bothered only about the student ID. So if I'm talking about the ID, so yes, these two records are duplicate, correct? Similarly, for Abdul, for Ankit, if I will consider student ID and student name, then this is not duplicate, correct? Because for Abdul and for Ankit are different records. But here I'm telling only a student ID. So if I'm talking about only ID, then these are the duplicates, correct?
Yes.
So is it clear? So this query seems to be correct. This is giving me the correct information that ID 1, 2, and 4 are duplicate. But then why I'm telling this is not correct? Think and tell me the scenario.
Null.
Null. Very good. I'm giving some name, Jan here. Now tell me, this two null, they are duplicate or not?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Now I've inserted that null. Now I'm executing this query. I know a lot of questions will be coming now. Now in this table student, you have two nulls, right? You have two null,
Yeah.
no?
Yes.
Correct? Now, hold on. I know a lot of questions will be coming. First of all, before jumping to this query question, line number 43. Is this two records duplicate? First of all, yes or no? This is a very twisted
Yes.
concept. Think
Yes.
carefully and tell me,
Yes.
are these two
No.
records duplicate?
No.
Why no? Why no?
So, null value is not specified, like what we have to put there instead of null.
Yes. See,
How
these
can-
two are not duplicate. Why? I agree this is null. I agree this is J and M. This is also null, J and M. Even then I'm telling this is not duplicate. Why? Tell me, is this null and is this null? They both are same. Two nulls are never same. Two nulls are never same. I will teach you few other scenarios where I will tell you that nulls are same. That is exceptions. I will teach you in certain concepts. But generally, two nulls are same. No, two nulls are not same. If I will write 4 and 4, you can tell that yes, 4 is equal to 4 because we know the absolute value of 4. But if I'm telling this null equals null, is this correct statement? Null is equal to null.
No.
No. If no, then why? Why two nulls are not same?
Because any value can be taken after.
Any values can be taken. Correct. Because I have told you null is a bucket of assumptions. Right? When I was teaching a difference between zero, blank, and null, And if you remember that particular restaurant marks was null there, what I told you the reason, that maybe that restaurant has not appeared in the exam. Maybe he has appeared in the exam, but he was debarred. Maybe he has appeared in the exam, but he has scored 0 marks. Maybe he has appeared in the exam, but still his paper is getting evaluated. A lot of possibilities are there, correct? So that is why null is a bucket of assumptions. So two bucket of assumptions. Can they both be same? No. Suppose you have two buckets dustbin, one dustbin A, dustbin B. Can you tell that both the dustbins are same? No. Maybe in one dustbin you have stationary items, your wrapped up papers and all those things. In second dustbin you have some vegetables and fruits and all those things. They both are dustbin, but they have different materials. Similarly, null is a bucket of assumptions. You cannot tell that two nulls are same. That is why you cannot tell that this and this records are same. First of all, is this clear now?
Yes.
Is this clear?
Yes. Yes.
I will teach you some other topics. There again, I will tell you that yes, two nulls are same, but there are some conditions. But please forget it for the time being. Okay, when the topic will come, then I will tell you. But generally, two null are not same, but not always. In interviews, the interviewers, they will ask this kind of questions. Two nulls are same. Tell me yes or no. Most of the students, even if you will search on the net, answer is yes, no. Two nulls are not same. No. In certain scenarios, I will tell you that when it is same. Okay. So here, these two records are not same. So they are not duplicate. Correct. Now, I'm executing this query. Now come back to the query. I'm executing this query. Is this giving me correct answer or not? Yes, still. Yes, this is the correct answer, right?
Yeah.
Because I told you know that these two nulls are not same, correct? So it means they are not duplicate, correct? So this query is not giving me null as an output. So this query is correct. Everything is fine. Even then, why I'm telling this query is incorrect? That is my question. Now try to understand it. I know this is a little bit complicated, but please try to understand it. This null and this null, suppose they have some transaction value. Okay, here I have mentioned student ID, but suppose they have some transaction value. Suppose it was 1 million transaction value, and this was 10, and this has happened in my project, that example I'm telling you. And this was having close to 10 million transaction value. Okay. We were creating a report. In that report, we were showing the total assets our company have. And the asset which we're showing on the number on the report, it was very less. The stakeholders, they raised the concern that the numbers are not correct. Please check it. We started doing the analysis in the entire ETL pipeline. Everything was looking good. Then we identified that, okay, we have these two nulls in the database and we are not capturing it. Okay, we are not capturing it. Then we analyzed the query, and similar query we have written. And when we executed this query, this was not capturing null. That was correct. But these two records were creating problem. Okay, these two records were creating problem because we are ignoring those two records because they were having null values. But internally, it was equivalent to 1 million, and this was equivalent to 10 million transaction number. But due to null, we have ignored this. So do you think this record should be ignored? No, they should not be ignored, right?
No.
Because they have some huge transaction value. We've ignored this because this was null, but we must expose this, that, okay, we have two records, the values are null, but they have some good transaction number, right? Then what we have done is we changed the query in our ETL pipeline, and we have written this query. I have given a star, just I have replaced with a star. Now look at the output. Now you're getting null or not, right? So when I'm using this query, I will get to know information about null as well. I will understand that, okay, in my database, I have two records null. So we should not ignore it. So that is why in your project, when you have to consider null records as well in duplicate, First of all, I'm telling you 2 nulls are not duplicate, but in your projects, there is a requirement that if you have more than 1 null, you have to highlight it. So in that case, you have to use a star, and this is a best practice. Okay, so always when someone is asking you to find the duplicates, so use this star, don't use this column. Because suppose a particular day you have received the transaction. Out of 100 transaction, 10 transaction is null. And if you are using this query will highlight the null records. It will not highlight it. So that is on the safer side. Always use the star when you want to find the duplicates. Is this clear now?
Yes.
Yes.
But Tanvir, like my first
Hmm.
solution was the same, the one which you written in the 45th line.
For this same question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm maybe like I have missed. You connect with me after class. I will look into that. Okay.
Okay.
If you have used this query, then your query is correct. The number 45, if you have used this query is correct. Maybe I would have missed somewhere. You please connect with me after class. I will look into that. Okay.
Sure.
So you see, these are the very, very minute things. Okay. And believe me, this will make a remarkable impact. Even if you are going to attend an interview, just in an interview, if someone is asking you that, okay, write a query to find the duplicate student ID. And we know that even if fresher, if you will ask this question, quickly he will write this query. Most of the time, 99% of the time, we have seen they will write this query. But if you're writing this query, and if you and at the same time, if you write this query as well, and if you will tell the reason that when in which scenario this query is correct, and in which scenario query in line number 44 is correct, believe me, that is going to make a remarkable impact. Okay, so hope it is clear.
Yes, Tanvir.
So
Okay.
one, I think you might have already covered, but just want to understand. So when we see count star here after student ID, it only counts the one which we're grouping by, right? And not everything, because usually star includes the other columns, right?
Okay. Let's explain. Let's try to understand this. But this is good, yeah. Let me explain this with the data. I want to explain this on it. Good question. So this is your. I know I'm going a little bit in detail explanation. Okay, but if it is getting bounced, so let me know. Okay, I will restrict to that. I don't go into this much in depth concepts. Okay, so this is a query. Okay. Okay, 1 minute. I want to pause here. I know that we are discussing count. I think it is 5th day today, 4th or 5th day, and maybe you guys have not expected that count is having this much variations. Where to use star, where to use subject, where to use distinct, and maybe a few of you know all those things. And again, today I have told you a little bit in depth that about this null, its impact in the project, where to use, where not to use, which query will work, which query will fail. Okay, so is this in-depth understanding good for you? Are you getting benefited, or you guys are getting bored that these things are not required? So please let me know if you have this thought. I will stick to the topics. I will stick to the agenda. Okay.
I think in-depth is very important, Tanvir.
Yeah, this basically helps us
is very important to understand.
how the
Yeah.
query.
Okay, it's fine then, because today I have explained you from a project perspective where to use null and all those things. Okay, because believe me, these all things are very important from project perspective for you, those who are working. That's why I am explaining all those things. But if anyone have any concern, it's killing time, something like that, you can connect with me on WhatsApp on personal moment. Okay, but it's fine. You guys are happy with this. That's good. Okay, fine. Now this query, let's try to understand about this query. I think someone has asked the question. Again, same thing. I will start from scratch. First of all, your from student will be executed, right? So your SQL engine will make a copy of this table. I think this step is very simple and it's clear to everyone, right? So from student is done. Let me mark this in green color. This is done. After from, where your engine will go?
Group by.
Group by. Very good. go to group by. In group by you have mentioned student ID. So now the next task is group by the student ID. Okay. So group by is nothing but creating buckets. That's all. So what will be the name of first bucket?
1.
1. Okay. Next record is 2. So next bucket name is 2. Third is 1. So already we have created bucket of 1. We will not create it. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Next is 2. Already we have created bucket of 2. We will not create it. The next record is 3. So we will create a bucket of 3 because we have not created earlier. Next is 4. We will create a bucket of 4. We have not created earlier. And then next is null. Okay. Now here is a twist. Shall we create bucket for null or not? Okay. See, here the twist is. Can I tell you that part? Okay, fine. Here you have mentioned count of a star. Okay, you have mentioned count of a star. So count of a star means it will consider everything, null and all those things. You know this, right? So that's why we will create bucket for null as well here. Okay. So this grouping is done. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions so far? Nothing new I have taught so far. Grouping, you know, is creating bucket. So this task is done. After grouping, where your engine will go? Having, right?
Yeah.
You have mentioned having count of a star greater than 1. So SQL engine will see that user has mentioned this filter condition. Then quickly it will derive the value of count of a star, right? For count of a star, it will check the bucket. So already bucket is created. So you will refer this. Bucket 1 is 1. How many times 1 is coming here? Once, twice, only 2 times. It will mark here 2. Correct? Second bucket name is 2. How many times 2 is coming here? Once, twice, 2. Third bucket name is 3. 3, how many times 3 is present? Only once. 1 here. 4, how many times 4 is there? Twice. Give 2 here. Now null. Will it consider null count of a star?
Yes.
Yes. And that's the output here is 2. Instead of count of a star, if you would have written count of a student ID, suppose if you would have written count of a student ID, will it consider this null as 2 here?
No.
No, it will not consider it. And that's why I told you to use count of a star, right? Because you have to consider null as well. Because if you remember, I have told you that please don't ignore null blindly. You never know, null can be a diamond as well. Maybe some very huge transactions are hidden behind null. Your source team has not sent that. So please don't blindly ignore the null. I have seen many data engineers, they will blindly ignore the nulls. They will write a query in the source query itself and they will ignore the nulls. No, you should not ignore null blindly. Maybe that is having huge data, huge transaction value. Okay. So that's why when you're using count of a star, null will be 2. And if using count of a student ID, it will show here 0. Is this clear now? And then you have given a condition greater than 1. So only these 2 records will be selected from this. And then these 2 records will be selected. And then finally select student ID. It will select this records and this record. This will be your output. Is this clear?
Yes.
Ranveer, I have one question. If in count we have a student name, then in front of bucket he will, I mean SQL will calculate student name.
Okay, 1 minute. So you're asking that after student ID,
No,
if I
no,
will
no.
write a student name.
I'm saying in count only we have a student name in place of a star. Yeah, we have a
Is
student
this the
name.
one?
Then yeah. So
Here as well, you have to change it.
here
Right?
as well, yeah.
Hmm.
So while counting bucket, it will calculate a student name.
It will calculate a student name. Yes. It will calculate a student name. Let me show you this.
But again, if that column has null, it skips, right, Tamir? Because you're doing a count on a column.
If your student name is null for that, it will skip it.
Yeah.
It will skip it. But here you see it is not skipping it, although you have not used star. You have not used a star. But even the null is coming here. Why? Because for this null, there is a valid student name, right? That is why it is giving you the value here. Is it clear?
No, it
Yes.
is not clear. Why?
Not
Why
clear, not
it
clear.
is?
Not clear. 1 minute, hold on, I will answer this. But this is a good question. Let me answer this. Oh, sorry, bad color. Before I answer this query, a very good query. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Is this clear to everyone? Okay, good. I'm not sure how many of you are there in that practice group 1, 2. And if you remember yesterday, I have sent one MCQ question. That
Yes,
was
sir.
exactly based on this concept only. Yeah. I will
Yes,
explain
sir.
this now. In this query, again, start from the basic. Okay. First of all, from will be executed. Let me highlight this. So the table will be copied. Keep it here. From is done. Mark it green. Next is group by. Group by student ID. This is red color. So when you will do group by student ID, group by student ID, the buckets will be 1, 2,
2,
3, 4, null.
4, null.
Okay. So far, is it clear? Okay. We have created a bucket. Grouping is done. Let me mark it by green color. Any questions so far? Hope it is clear. Grouping is also done. Now the next after grouping is you're having. So having. Okay. Hold on here. No. First of all, let me complete this and I will ask one more question. Okay, grouping is done. The next is having count of a student name greater than 1. SQL engine will see that user has mentioned that they want only those records where count of a student name is greater than 1. So first of all, quickly, your SQL engine will calculate count of a student name. And here is the twist. Try to understand. Count of a student name you're asking. For ID 1, this is the record with ID 1. Let me highlight this. This is the record with ID 1. Let me highlight this. Do you have any other ID 1 here? No.
No.
Only those 2 records are there with ID 1. Okay, fine. So this bucket is present twice here. Okay, but what you're looking for? You're looking for count of a student name.
Student name.
For this one, do you have a student name value here or it is null? You have the value here, no?
Yes.
You have the value. So it will mark it 1 here. For the second student ID, do you have any value in the student name column? Yes. So 1 plus 1, this is 2.
2.
Okay. Now, okay, now first of all, let me complete this. Next is your student ID 2. So this is done. This is also done. Next is student ID 2. This is this record and this record. For this student ID 2, I have to find count of a student name. So here for this ID 2, do we have any value for count of a student name? Yes. I'm not bothered what is the value. I'm just checking value is there or not. Because if you remember, this is the difference between count of a star and count of any column, right? Count of column will ignore the null. That is why I'm telling, do you have any value here? Yes, I have. So this will be considered. Count is 1. Again, for second student ID, do you have any record? Yes, I have. So 1 plus 1, 2.
2.
Is this clear? Okay. Similarly, for 3, there is only 1 record. Count will be 1. For 4, you have 2 records. And for both the records, you have values. So it will be 2. Okay, so far clear? Okay. Now, coming to the last one, null. For this null, now try to understand this one. This is the important one. For null, what you want to count? You want to count a student name. For this null, do you have any student name here?
Yes.
Yes. Will this count of a student name will consider it? Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. For the next null, do you have any student name? Yes.
Yes.
So count of a student name will consider it? Yes, it will consider. So
Yes.
1 plus 1, 2. So
2.
that is why even the student ID is null, but count of a student name is giving the output as 2 because count of a student name is concentrating on the student name column. It will check whether here the value is there or not. So yes, here the value is present. That is why it is giving here 2 as an output. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why if you see here, so ID is null, even though it is giving 2. And the beauty of this question is I have not used a star here, right? Correct? No, because in string name you have the value. Is it clear now?
Yes, it's
Yes, sir.
Okay, same question. I'm doing like this. I'm just reversing it. You see, I'm just reversing it. I'm finding count of a student ID for each and every name. I've just reversed this, or else remove this one. Just concentrate on this one. Okay. Why for this Jan the count of a student ID is giving 0?
Because the ID is null.
Because the ID is null. For
Yeah.
Jan the ID is null, and that's why count of a student ID is not considering it. Got it? And that's why here it is 0. Because you have mentioned I want to count the student ID. So when
ID.
SQL engine is counting ID for the Jan, the SQL engine found that okay, it is null. And SQL engine, you know that if it is count of column, it will ignore the null. That is why it has ignored it, and it is telling that there is no record for the name Jan. But you know, there we have 2 records here. Correct?
Yes.
Is this clear?
Yes, Sanal.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question on the assignment 30 June? Shall I move to 4th July assignment?
Yes, please.
Any question here? Anyone who wants to discuss?
last question.
This question, have you guys tried this one? Only one, I think, only one person has done it correctly. So I will explain this question first of all. See here, the question is to find the distinct count of distinct department, right? So tell me how, and you have to consider null department as well. That's the twist here. I will write here distinct department. So what's the output? The output is 1, 2, 3, and 4 distinct departments are there, right? Okay, I've taken lowercase HR as well. No, okay, fine. Suppose the lowercase HR is different. So you have 4 distinct departments, right? And if I'm using count, what is the value here? It is giving only 3. Why?
3.
Why?
It is ignoring the null.
It is ignoring null, and that's the beauty of this question. I want you to write a query in such a way that it should not ignore null. It should consider null as well in the department. What to do then? Is the question clear?
Yes, sir.
So you have to consider null as well. What you will do here?
Group by
think so.
department and count star.
Group by department and count of the star. No. That will not work here. See, I will write that with group by department. And here you are telling to use count of a star. No,
Yes.
this will not work.
No, department comma.
Like 4, 3, 2, 1.
Department comma. Comma.
This will also not work. This is giving you that in HR there are 4 records. For sales there are 3 records. For null there is 2 records. For this lowercase HR there is 1 record. But my question is overall how many departments are there in your organization? That is my question, right? And you have to consider null records as well. That's my question. Here from this query you are telling that for each and every department how many records are there? This is not my question. Okay.
We use annual function.
Annual.
Very good. Very good. Tell me the query.
Select count under count we use distinct.
Very good.
And then we put the annual function because we want to use the null values as well.
Good. Now the output is 4.
Yes.
Is this query clear? No. See, try to understand now. When I have used select count of distinct department from department, the output is 3, correct? Why it is 3? Tell me. Because it is ignoring null.
the null.
It is ignoring null. Very good. But when I executed query, which is line number 64, it is considering null, correct? Why?
Yes.
What I've done in this query, in that query?
Because in the NVL you written if it is null, then you make it as 0, right?
Correct. So here what I have done, I am telling to SQL engine that SQL, if you see somewhere it is null, replace that with 0. So once that null is replaced with 0, then your SQL engine will count it or not? It will count it, right? So that is why I have used annual department comma 0. So what will happen? It will convert wherever it is null, it will convert that to 0, and then it will count it. So once it is converted to 0, then it will count it. Is that clear? Yes or no, guys? Is it clear or not?
Yes, Tanvir.
Yes.
Everyone, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Department would be 3 because HR and HR are same.
That
Why
I'm
it is
ignoring.
taking?
You are correct. That I'm ignoring. That you can play with upper and lower. We have discussed that earlier, right? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
I think someone has asked that question.
Yes,
HR lower and upper. So that you can play with the upper and lower. Okay. Okay, fine. That's clear. Any other question here? This was a good question.
No, good. Thank you.
Question number 2, 3, most of you have done it correctly. Question number 4. Anywhere is a keyword to store not null records in a table. Is it correct?
False.
false.
Why is it false?
False.
So NVL is used to replace all the null values in the playground, not in the actual database.
So NVL is not going to store anything. It is just for the display purpose. It will not store. If you remember yesterday, I have shown you that this is for display purpose only. Again, if you will execute that original table, select a star from that original table, still you are getting that null. Why? Because NVL is not storing anything. It is just displaying it. That is why this statement is false. Okay. Next question. Question number 5. Calculate marks by total marks for the below data set. Assume marks as 0 if it is null. I think most of you have done it correctly. I think yes. Anyone who has question here in this question? Any doubt?
Can you please explain this question?
Question number 5.
Yes.
5, no? Okay, let me explain this. So here the question is, you have this code table. Let me show the data. Just start from the score. And these are the values you have. A marks is this, okay. And you are doing some calculations, you're deriving some logic as per your business use case. You have to find marks by total marks. Okay, you have to derive marks by total marks. So what I will do, I will write this formula, name comma marks comma total marks, and then marks by total marks from a score. Okay, I've written this query because this was mentioned in my FRD functional requirement that we have to use this formula, marks by total marks, derive it in this query. You got output as 0.32 and here it is null and here it is null. Okay, so now the problem here is why it is null and why it is null. Any idea?
Because null divided by anything will give null.
Because null divided by anything and anything divided by null will give you null, right?
Yes.
But in my question, they don't want you to show null in that case. So what they are telling that if marks is null, no, so replace that with 0. That is what I mentioned. Assume marks as 0 if it is null. So what you will do here, you will write here NVL marks
comma 0.
comma 0. So you are telling if marks is null, consider it as 0. Now if I will execute this, you are getting 0 here. correct? Is it clear? Now you can ask a question that Tanvir, what is the difference? Earlier it was showing null. Now you are showing 0. What is the difference? Yes, there is a difference. Maybe if you are showing null, and those who are working as a Power BI developers, if you have worked on that, many times you will apply condition that you don't want to show the null records on the reports. I'm not sure how many of you in this group are working on the report side. So you will apply those conditions that you don't want to show the null records. And in that case, this employee B information will be missed. So that is why you want to show here 0. So to show that, you can show this employee B information on the report that, okay, this calculation is coming as 0. That's not a problem. But if it is missing, that's a problem. Your business stakeholders can ask question that why this information of B is missing. And you cannot tell that this is null and all those things because they don't know what is null. That's why in those scenarios, we convert this marks to 0 if it is null, so that this calculation will give 0. That is fine, but we can show this employee rates on the report. So this is the use of NVL as well here. Is that clear?
Yes.
In total marks, we don't use the same NVL process.
I'm coming to that. So this one is clear for record, second record. Okay. For third record, again, it is coming as null. Okay. But you want to show some number here. Now see, here's the twist. If I will write here NVL.
0 divided by 0 issue.
Correct. 0 divided by 0 is a which topic in maths? Can anyone tell me? Divisor is equal to 0. That is not allowed. Okay. So what to do in this case? So those who are working on finance projects, those who are working on KPI numbers, okay, you will get, you might have faced this kind of lot of calculations will be there. You have to calculate all those things. And many times you will see it is 0 or something like that. So in that case, this you cannot assume on yourself as 0. So you have to discuss with the business. Many times you will replace it with 1 because you cannot give any other number. So that's why if you replace it by 1, so now you see 40, and this is considered as 1. 40 by 1 is 40. Just an example I'm showing you. But you have to discuss this with the business stakeholders that, okay, if total marks is null, what I have to give? Maybe they will give you some number. So that number you have to put here. For example, I'm showing it 1. And this is a very good use case of NVL in the calculations when either numerator or denominator have null values. Okay, hope it is clear. Any question? Okay, I will stop here. And I think we have discussed all the assignment questions. From tomorrow, I will discuss new topics, new concepts. I think we have good and healthy discussion on count and duplicates and all those things. Now it's your responsibility, guys. You have to work on the assignments. Okay. Yeah, so those who want to drop, you can drop. Others, if you have any question, you please continue. Any other questions?
No, Tanvir.
Okay,
No,
fine
sir.
then. Fine then. We will connect tomorrow with a new set of topics. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.